Hello, Penny here. Welcome back. It's the spring of 2023 and we're back, season 4. Today on my garden podcast... Oh, gross. I'm not into this today, do you know what I mean? It's too messy. I think I might be menstrual. Pre-mental. And I want everything really tidy. Oh, dear. Do you know what? I think the answer might be just to saw it down. Timber! Anyway, we start the series with a death. Potentially. Let's go and check it out. So we're back in the garden, and what a fantastic time of year it is, the springtime. It's a little chilly here in the northwest of England in our garden. I'm with Hunky Husband. Go on, say hello.
Hello.
There he is, he's made an appearance. Woohoo! So yeah, Hunky Husband and I have bowled out into the garden this afternoon. We could have gone for a swim, but no, we thought the sun's coming out and there's a massive list of jobs. So we've bowled out into the garden, and one major concern over the last few months, since a very cold snap in December, which lasted, I'd say, about 10 days. It snowed one Sunday. The whole place was covered in a thin sprinkling of white, which looked lovely. And then that snow didn't melt, which it normally does in the UK. It normally just goes to slush after about 24 hours, and it's all a bit disappointing. This snow stuck around. It didn't snow again, but the reason it stuck around is because we were faced with -5 degrees through the daytime for about 10 days, which was highly unusual. So the snow was, ice, basically, and it was very pretty. However, it's had a horrible, damaging impact on the palm tree. It's been looking unwell. It's increasingly brown and sad. Where it used to be perky, it's now floppy. We've Googled it, obviously, because that's what we do on this podcast, isn't it? Listeners familiar to series 1, 2 and 3 will know that Google is the favourite place of all of our gardening, the source of information. So we Googled it, and yeah, we've basically got what looks like a dead palm tree. In a way, it's a good start to a series, isn't it? A lot of TV shows, the first episode is either a wedding or it's a funeral or something like that. So we'll start the first episode of the Garden Podcast with a fatality. But we need to confirm it, though. We need to check heartbeat, that sort of stuff. It's not looking good, but I'm going to climb up there and find out a bit more. Now, it is sad because I've had it for 5 years and it's grown brilliantly. It was about 4 foot when I got it, and it is now 8 foot, which is huge, isn't it? And that's imperial, not metric. So it's getting on for 3 meters tall, which is phenomenal. And I liked it because it made me feel like I was on holiday. It made me feel exotic and far-flung. And yet, no, it's not going to really continue doing that the way it's looking. So I'm not going to shimmy up its trunk using like my feet and one of those straps that the really able-bodied people in other countries fly up palm trees to get things from the top. I'm actually going to use the precarious mechanism that my Hunky Husband's put out for me. He's suggesting a kind of seesaw plank that's resting on 2 walls. So the palm tree, basically, let's just to set the scene. The palm tree is in the Mediterranean bed, which is a raised bed of, it's about thigh height, painted white. It's a square. The secret behind it is that it's been used and built to disguise an old tree trunk of a tree we cut down, which was a horrible, sticky, massive pine tree which dominated the garden and made it very, very dark. So we got rid of that. But frankly, the guy who did it, he was a bit of a lazy sod and had bitten off more than he can chew in quoting, and he went, yeah, I can do that, £600. Chop it down. He was there for 2 or 3 days. He was getting covered in sap. And as anyone who's ever chopped down any sort of pine or fern or anything like that that's very established, the wood is like metal to cut through. So he just gave up when it got to like chewing out the trunk and getting rid of that. And he just looked like he was defeated, and I went, mate, you can just go on. We'll leave it there and work around it. So what we did was we built this 3-sided bed around it of substantial size out of breeze blocks, plastered it. I did my first bit of plastering. This is a few years ago. And then we painted it white. We then decided that a palm tree would look really super and a bit more Mediterranean than anything else, and also give it height. You know, when you've got quite a longish garden and a quite boring garden, ultimately you need to bring height to it, and we don't have that. We don't have many established trees. Well, we did, but we cut it down. Okay, so I'm just wondering whether this bed is jinxed for trees. You know, we cut the first one down, the second one, it's done 5 years, growing really tall, nada. Anyway, we start the series with a death. Potentially. Let's go and check it out. I'm climbing the seesaw as we speak. It's a good job I've been to yoga. Over the last few. There we go. Onto the hard plank. I don't feel too wobbly, which is good. I work for myself, so if I do get injured, I'm absolutely buggered. Anyway, up we go. I think you might have to join me, hunky husband, with the microphone. What are you doing wearing your nice trainers out? Oh God, I've been a right nag today, I'm not going to lie. I feel quite happy in my head, and then I see something happening, like, you know, a mug of tea marking the surface with a ring, and I'm like, for goodness sake, what are you doing, you stupid man? And I've just realised that I'm being quite naggy. Anyway, back to the palm. Oh, now that is where I've been cutting and making a beautiful pattern of all the spears. So that's kind of like, we've got trunk down at the bottom, and then we're going to carry on up for another metre of this kind of cut-off thing. Looks beautiful, or it did. And then, you hear that? We're into the dry spears. They're all brown. Now, normally, you cannot pull these off because they just love being attached. So that's why I had to cut all of these. I'll put a picture on Twitter so you can see, but you get the drift. You really have to cut through them. They're normally really, really attached, but not anymore. So, right, okay. Oh, gross. I'm not into this today. Do you know what I mean? It's too messy. I mean, I think I might be menstrual, pre-mental, and I want everything really tidy. That's it. That's what's happening. I'm happy enough in my head, but if anyone bothers me, that's it. They're done for. And this is just going to create a load of mess. I'm getting, I don't know what it is. Anyway, the leaves are just piling out. Should have worn my safety spectacles. Oh yeah, look, right, okay. So the leaves have come out, and at the top of them, where they intersect with the trunk, it's absolutely damaged. It's got mould on it. It's gone black. It's not soggy yet, which is one thing. But there's no growth. There's no. That's done. Now they do say on the Google to go right the way to the top and just see, to get rid of all of this dry stuff and see if there's any chance of growth. So that's what we're going to be looking for. What we could do is do kind of step one and take as much of the leaves off as possible. Now, I'm going to struggle to reach any further, to be honest, unless I adopt that climbing up a palm tree with the instep. My insteps on the... No, I don't think I'll do that. And they say to get rid of all of this dry stuff and then give it a bit of a fingers crossed situation that maybe at the very top there'll be some green shoots of recovery. But we're not going to be able to get up there to have a look at any time soon. I mean, it's literally... There's so many bits and things flying out of it, it's awful. Oh dear. Do you know what? I think the answer might be just to saw it down. Timber! So now I've pulled some stuff out. It's quite interesting. You're kind of inside the beast, really, underneath its big hair. The stalk just goes on for ages and ages. It's like the Jack and the Beanstalk or the Magic Faraway tree up there. It's an interesting world. So yeah, these spear palm leaves are laddered up all the way up there, but even the top ones that you think would be the strongest are easily pulled off. Yeah, it's not happy. It's given up, basically, which is fair enough. I'd have given up if I'd been out -5 during the day and the night. It was not a nice time. So I think what we're going to do is give this another coat of looking at and make a decision as to what we do, whether we hatchet job it down, get the axe on it and actually say goodbye to it, or we continue with this incredibly messy job of pulling all of the dead stuff off it in the vain hope, I think, that it's going to return. But even the base of it is all black. So anyway, that's for another day. We'll make a decision on that. But sad news, amid the joy of spring though, I mean really, all the roses are coming out, even the fig tree's got some cheeky little buds on it. Nice. And I'm loving it. I've got a washing load on the line that's drying in the freezing cool weather. I have to take it in and rehang it inside near the radiator. But such is life at this time of year. It's perfectly okay to be like this. So, right, I'm going to try not to be so snappy with the fam when I get back in. I might go for a long bath and a big think.